Hello, dear students. Today I'm going to deal a poem, Fame and Friendship by Henry Austin Dobson. Henry Austin Dobson was born on January 18, 1840 at Plymouth, in England. Dobson was an English poet, critic, and a biographer. His love and knowledge of the 18th century imparted a graceful elegance to his poetry and motivated his critical studies. In 1856, he became a civil servant at the British Board of Trade. He started publishing poetry in magazines in 1864. In the 1870s, Dobson revived intricate medieval French verse forms, the triolet, the ballad, and the villanelle. It became known as the English Parnassian movement. His first collection of poems, vignettes and rhyme, was followed by proverbs in porcelain. In these poems and in At the Sign of the Lyre, Dobson used the polish, wit, and restrained pathos that lent popularity to his verses. After 1885, Dobson was mainly occupied with the writing biographies of Henry Fielding, Richard Steele, Oliver Goldsmith, and the like, which display careful research into and sympathy with 18th century life. The complete poetical works of Austin Dobson was published in 1923. In Fame and Friendship, the author compares fame and friendship, but he prefers friendship over fame. Fame is mortal, while friendship is immortal. Fame is a food that dead men eat. I have no stomach for such meat. In little light and narrow room, they eat it in the silent tomb, with no kind voice of comrade near to bid the feaster be of cheer. But friendship is a noble thing. Of friendship it's good to sing, for truly when a man shall end, he lives in the memory of his friend, who doth his better part recall, and of his fault make funeral. The poem sings songs of friendship. Fame is a thing which every person is sought for. People can do anything to be famous. But here the poet says that friendship is far better than fame. Fame is a food that dead men eat. I have no stomach for such meat. In little light and narrow room, they eat it in the silent tomb, with no kind voice of comrade near to bid the feast to be of cheer. In the first stanza, the poet talks about fame. He says that fame is a food that dead men eat, which means that the people value a person only after his death. We see that great people are awarded after death and their statues are built after their death. He says that he does not want their food. In the tomb, there is no light and there is a narrow place they receive fame. Their fame no longer remains and people forget them. No one prays now for them. But friendship is a nobler thing. Of friendship is good to sing. For truly, when a man shall end, he lives in the memory of his friend, who doth his better part recall, and of his fault make funeral. In the next stanza, the poet describes how friendship is better than fame, becoming famous. He says, but friendship is a nobler thing. In the last part of life, when death comes, man recalls the memory of friendship. It was later part of life, and his friend makes the funeral of his faults, which means in friendship, faults are forgotten and only the good part is to be remembered. So, its friendship is better than fame. If we critically analyze the poem, we can come to the conclusion that the poet prefers friendship over fame and its immortality. The advantages of friendship has been stressed in English literature from Bacon, and it's true in modern time also.